Hi, Harshvardhan. How are you?
Good.
Okay,
Nice to see you after so long.
Yeah, finally,
Yeah.
after all the Wi-Fi issues and whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we go straight to Spotlight. And I would like to start with a question which has been bothering a lot of Satyajit Ray fans, which is the question of the adaptation. The fact that Satyajit Ray's Spotlight and your Spotlight, as in Vasan Bala's Spotlight, is quite different. Okay. So tell me, what do you think an adaptation should be like? First, let's talk about that.
Well, I mean, I think Spotlight was where Vasan and Naren have taken the liberty to kind of be inspired from the story. And it's not kind of a direct adaptation of the text material, and it kind of takes the story into a new direction. And yeah, I mean, I think it's really exciting, right? Is when you take an original piece of work, or you take something that was created many years ago and kind of see it in your own way, or have the vision to kind of want to see it in your own way. And at least that's what I like, is when authors and creators and filmmakers and writers take material and try to not just replicate it with a few changes here and there, but really kind of make it their own, which is progressive, and I think it's bold. And yeah, that's what Spotlight. I think that's what Spotlight is.
Yeah, so I think your first movie, actually, Mirza, was also, like taking a text which has been like a age-old story, which has been there forever, and seeing it in the new light. That's what Rakesh Omprakash Mehra tried to do with that film.
Right.
Yeah, so you have had some experience with this form of adaptations, I think. Right?
Sure.
So when now we have had really polarizing views about Spotlight, I think it has been the short which has divided people the most. So so most the others people have liked or not liked, whatever, but Spotlight, there are like intense reactions. So how do you react to the criticism?
Yeah, you have to just kind of understand who the criticism is coming from. What is that? What is that? I mean, I don't really see. The thing is that criticism these days, I mean, with social media and stuff, everybody kind of has a voice, so it's very difficult to really gauge what that person's sensibilities are or taste is, or what that person likes or dislikes. So it's really kind of hard to kind of take everyone so seriously, if you will. But I mean, when you're doing something like Spotlight, you have to expect it to be polarizing. I think when you're kind of creating a piece that's so different and kind of absurd and bizarre, and very different in terms of narrative structure or form. It's not what people are kind of used to consuming. So whenever you kind of gives people something that's kind of a departure from what they're used to seeing, it's always going to polarize. It happens not only in India, but all over the world. True. I'm actually surprised with how many people have liked it, to be honest. I expected it to be a lot more polarizing than it turned out being. I know what you're saying, but there definitely have been more positives than I expected. So I'm focusing on those. And I think for the people that haven't kind of responded to it as much, that's fine as well, because that's what art is supposed to do. Is it's supposed to start a conversation. We're not here to tell you what's good or bad. Yeah. It's our responsibility to create something original and authentic and new. Yeah. And then it's your prerogative as a viewer to kind of either like it or dislike it for whatever reason. And the victory is that the work of art starts a conversation. That's what art is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be something that you make for each and every person in the world to like. It's not like, something that everyone is supposed to like something uniform. So that's what our purpose is. So I think the fact that Spotlight is the film that has had the most love or the most dislike is a great sign that it
has delivered. It has
exactly, it's delivered on what it was supposed to be. So yeah.
So you have also your kind of work. So I'm coming from this tweet of yours where you said that I do my kind of films, the kind of films that I want to do, and I'm not here to fulfill everyone's expectations. So tell me, but when you are in an industry like this, doesn't it somewhere, aren't you supposed to, I don't know, fulfill, you're always fulfilling someone or the other's expectations, right? So where do you rate that? Like, so is it your expectations first, and then say the directors, then the audiences, and whatever? What is that scale for you?
Well, I mean, I think when I decide to kind of be a part, be a part of a film as an actor, I don't really see it as something I'm doing just to kind of be employed, or as a job or to work. For me, every film I do is a passion project. So for me, the film is always personal. It's very personal to me. Whether it's Bhavesh Joshi or Mirzia or Spotlight or AK versus AK, these are all passion projects. They're not only a reflection of what I like to see in movies. They're a reflection of, and they're an extension of me. I think in a lot of ways they kind of reflect my creative aspirations, and I think these films definitely stand for something kind of in their own way. I mean, Mirzia kind of took the Bollywood romantic launch film and did kind of an art house abstract musical. Bhavesh Joshi kind of redefined the idea, deconstructed a superhero film, and we'd never seen something so rooted and grounded and thematically tied into issues that we face in this country, and kind of given a spin as kind of a vigilante action drama. And AK versus AK was a small part of that. We very rarely get to see meta kind of comedy thrillers in that way. And Spotlight is an absurdist, bizarre kind of comedy that makes some really interesting points about religion, organized religion, celebrity culture, our obsession with it, etc. So, I like the diversity. I like the fact that these films, whether you love them or hate them, you can't really compare them to other things. And that's the coolest thing for me. And so yeah, whenever I do something, I don't move on from my films. My films will always be a part of me, for better or for worse. And so I'm thinking about myself when I make these choices. I'm not thinking about, what will this person think, and what will that demographic think, and how many social media followers will this film give me, and who is the heroine of this film, and how is that going to impact my career 5 years from now. And I think all of that is very inconsequential, because life is so unpredictable. You really don't know what's going to happen like 2 days from now, So I don't think that there's so much, I'm not that structured, and I don't see it as like a business proposition. For me, is I go from one passion project to the next, and every time I do something, I start from zero, I start from scratch. And then I just kind of try and do my best. And for the film, for the people that these films resonate with, even though it's a smaller people, these films really, really resonate with those people, right? So it only takes a small group of people for your work to have impact, right? And impact is very, very different from reach. So you can reach 1 million people, but how many people are really impacted by that work?
And they get out and they just forget it.
Exactly. So, or I mean, they, even if you impact a small group of people, because it only takes a small group of people to start something, to start a cult, to kind of reminisce or something, or for them to carry that film as a part of them for many years, that maybe somebody can watch Spotlight of Bhavesh Joshi 5 or 10 years from now and be like, I didn't expect that. That was cool. I'm inspired by that in some way, and it fuels somebody else's creativity. So that's kind of where I feel liberated, is the fact that if people say things about my work, they can dilute the reach of it, but nobody can dilute the impact of it. And that's where I feel liberated.
So I think, like, even Bhavesh Joshi, for example, so a teammate of mine reviewed it, and when he came back, he was like, "Oh, I loved this film. You should definitely watch it in the theater." But then, things happened. I couldn't catch it in the theater. Then I watched it online, and I was just blown away. And I think I tweeted also that, wow, this is a film that really deserved to get its due, and it is getting its due now, maybe, and it will continue to do it over the years also, because I think that it's a film that sort of, as long as there is India, as long as there is corruption, it will just be there. It's timeless that way, right?
It is.
So, okay, let's come back to Spotlight. So tell me, you had a cracker of a chemistry with Chandan, right? So what was your brief? So he sort of he paid a tribute to Robbie Ghosh with his
Right.
character. So tell me, what was the brief? What was Vasan Vada's brief?
So Vasan's brief was basically these two guys are like brothers, and he really wanted to see that camaraderie between them. And Vikram's moments of petulance and arrogance with Robbie are just for him to get attention. You know, he doesn't mean to be disruptive. He's almost like a child that just wants to be adored. You know, and he knows with Robbie he can kind of throw his weight around and get away with it. Because Robbie knows him so well. So Chandan and I met at the airport on the way to the shoot and hit it off immediately. And our chemistry just happened on day one. We just got along. And I think with Chandan is just such a fine actor. He's worked on his craft for so many years.
Yeah.
He's so refined with the way that he does things. It's really important for an actor that's as new and raw as me, that's still very much learning things, to be around somebody like Chandan, it elevates my scenes. It elevates my performance because he's so brilliant. So we had a great chemistry, and I think it shows in the film.
True. I think that is one of the biggest takeaways from the film, this chemistry, because the romantic part is not as much there. It's not a film that had to delve into that side anyway, right? So I think it just was really amazing, both of your chemistry. And also I will come to reviews. So this is sort of taking off from the criticism part of it, where you say that social media, everyone has an opinion and people will like it or hate it, whatever. So when it comes to film reviews, don't you think it's sort of it's increasingly becoming irrelevant in the time when people are no longer going out to a theater and watching a film?
Well, I mean, I think Bhavesh Joshi is the perfect example. It had reviews all the way from 2 stars to 4 stars. Again, Bhavesh Joshi is a huge success with the people. It's a huge success with cinephiles and consumers of cinema and film lovers and even beyond. And then some people that just are completely indifferent to them or don't get them at all. But eventually, nobody remembers the reviews of Bhavesh Joshi at all. It's become so much beyond a couple of those reviews that were published, because people, which is again coming back to the conversation that we had, Ananya, about impact and reach, is you can't dilute the impact of a film like that, because eventually it's going to be consumed with people without, that are kind of going into it with an open mind, not expecting what they watch, kind of like how you stumbled upon it. Yeah. And then it kind of takes you, I have to understand where that's coming from, in the senses, everybody has a different palate, right? Everybody has a kind of a different taste, right? And not everybody likes the same kind of cinema. Not everybody kind of likes the same food. Everybody is in a different state of mind when they consume a certain piece of work, which can kind of greatly affect your perception of it.
Also, it's OTT, right? So you are also struggling with a calling bell or delivery or whatever. You're at home. You're not in a theater where you're a captive. You're captive for
Yeah, I mean, I think the criticism is kind of what it is. I mean, I think a lot of people haven't really kind of fully grasped the ending. So for me, that's a telltale sign. I think for people that really understand the ending and enjoy it, they've truly got the film and love it. I think a lot of people have kind of, a bunch of people have also liked the start and not like the ending because they're looking for logic in the ending. And it's kind of, it's symbolism, it's kind of about how religion and a movie star aura can kind of overpower the masses, and then you combine that with magic realism, and so I understand that it's not everybody's cup of tea, but again, like I said, when there are so many positive reviews and there's so much positivity on socials and everything, and you kind of can just sense, even from the industry and the messages and calls that you receive, and a lot of the good things that are written about you and what people are saying on your portals and Twitter and stuff, you kind of gauge what the perception of a film is, So I'm not really too focused on the slightly negative reviews from a certain section, because that was always bound to happen with a film like this, There are very few films that kind of cut across all boundaries, like maybe like a Gully Boy or something like that, which...
No, even Gully Boy had...
exactly.
There's always a section which will not like
Exactly. So, yeah.
Every day you go on Twitter, there's always a hashtag boycott something, So
Right.
people asking for a boycott don't even know what it is. So it's part of life, I think. Yeah. So also, tell me, what's the last film you watched in the theater?
Oh, I don't even remember, man. I'll tell you the truth. It's been such a long time. I didn't really go to the cinema after the lockdown, the first lockdown.
Hmm.
So whatever I consumed was before COVID.
Okay. So, and how have you dealt with this, COVID lockdown and all of it, this entire era?
Well, I kind of have just got my own apartment now and moved out of my house and stuff. And I shot Spotlight during the lockdown. Post the first lockdown, I shot my next film, the thriller that's coming out at the end of the year or next year, in December, Feb. Came back in March, got a new apartment. Took about 2 or 3 months to finish moving, and then Spotlight released. Got busy with that. So a lot has happened, and I'm just kind of taking each day as it comes and waiting for this phase in Maharashtra to get over, because it always seems like every other city or state in the world is recovering to some extent, but we are just perpetually in some sort of curfew.
It's just like Kerala and Maharashtra.
I don't know I don't know what it is. I mean, I think that they've done a fantastic,
right? So they've done a fantastic job.
They've done a phenomenal job. I mean, I'm so proud to be in Maharashtra and be in Mumbai, and I think Mr. Uddhav Thackeray and stuff have done a wonderful, tremendous job. They're fantastic people, and they and it's just the challenge that they face is so huge, because we're such a densely populated state, and there are only so many vaccines you can roll out, and there are still some people that are kind of apprehensive and scared about it. Which, if anybody is watching this, please don't be. Please go out there, try and get both your doses, because if you do get both your doses, there will still be coronavirus cases, but there will be very few hospitalizations and there will be very few deaths. And we're trying to save lives. And even if you look at more developed countries like the United Kingdom, there are still COVID cases, but people are recovering. People are not dying as much, and that's what we need to get to. So I'm hoping that the monsoons, which last till about September, can be used as a very good 6-8 weeks to roll out as many doses as possible. And come October, November, December, which is Diwali, Christmas, etc., when hospitality businesses, cinemas, all of these people need revenue to survive. A lot of businesses peak during that time. Tourism peaks. I hope and pray that we have a good 4 or 5 months, so our economy can pick up a little bit and people can kind of go out there and start enjoying life again. I think it's very important, and I think that they're working towards that. So fingers crossed.
So what's your so right now you're preparing for Bindra?
So Bindra, currently the script is being written, so I'm not preparing for it at the moment. That's in pre-production. I just finished shooting a thriller that is in post-production as well. That should be out early next year. That's my next film. And right now I'm reading scripts, and I'm doing the odd audition here and there. So that's what's going on.
So tell me, you're a star kid. So a lot of people have this question: do you still have to take auditions?
Yes, you still have to take auditions.
Yeah. Thanks for clearing that for a lot of people. And tell me, what was your parents' reaction to Spotlight?
My mom really enjoyed it. My dad saw the rough cut before it released and didn't quite love it as much, but after watching the final cut, he loved it.
Okay, so that's a good thing then.
Yeah.
Okay, I think and finally your t-shirts from Spotlight. So tell me, whose idea was it to dress you up like that?
Well, I dressed myself. So all of the clothes besides those t-shirts that you're talking about are from my own wardrobe. The t-shirts were Vasan Bala's idea. Okay. And then they were executed by Abhilasha.
Okay.
Stylist.
And also, so tell me, what's your first memory of Satyajit Ray?
Watching the Apu trilogy as a film student in Southern California when I studied filmmaking. That's my first memory of Ray, watching any Ray. And
then Ray as a writer?
Spotlight actually was, honestly, to be very honest, the first piece of work that I read. And Vasan actually sent it to me just for my kind of sanity, but he told me that it's not important in the senses where our film is quite different from it, and just see it as an isolated film. as opposed to something that's very heavily kind of similar to something else. So yeah.
Okay, so I think that's about it. In case you have something to share for our readers, viewers.
Yeah, Bhavesh Joshi, AK vs. AK, and Spotlight are all streaming on Netflix. So if you're locked down at home, have nothing to do, there are some interesting films there that you can watch. Mirza, I believe, is on Amazon Prime. And yeah, I'm just very happy with a lot of the positivity that's come in. I'm very relieved and happy that a lot of people have responded to the work and the performances. And yeah, just I would say stay safe, try and stay safe, be happy. And it's a very difficult time for a lot of people. So do not go out of your way to spread any sort of toxicity or negativity on social media, because we're living our lives through our phones and our devices at the moment. We're bound to our homes, a lot of us. So we have to be very sensitive and empathetic towards other people, and you don't know what anybody else is going through. You don't know what somebody is dealing with. So you're not going to achieve anything by being nasty on social media. You're going to just make the world a horrible place, a worse place. So you have a responsibility to make the world a better place. You can either do that by being positive or, minding your own business. But I just feel we're going to enter a time very soon where it's going to become impossible or illegal in a way to be homophobic or hurtful or racially abuse or discriminate against anybody on social media. It's just like when you're walking on the road and somebody stops you and harasses you and calls you names, that is punishable by law.
Yeah.
We don't have those laws on social media yet because we're still very new to the internet. But there will come a time and a place where that will happen, and you don't want to look back and be like, I used to be one of those people. So
and nothing ever dies on the internet, like it's always there.
It's always documented. You can't run away from it. And so yeah, so just try and spread love and positivity, because I think we all need it right now.
Okay. Also, finally, have you met your sister? She's just back.
She came back yesterday. I'm going to go to the house today.
Okay. I think
thank you, Ananya. Thank you so much for your time.